Fabrizio Pilato with greenitall.com here with Tyler Hamilton, author of Mad Like Tesla. Tyler, could you tell us about your book and what it's about?
Well, I've covered the technology sector, clean technology, for several years as a reporter at the Toronto Star. And I've come across a lot of different companies over the years that I found are doing really creative, innovative things, but the general population, investors, politicians think that what they're trying to do is kind of crazy. So I thought to myself, here you got you've got Tesla, Nikola Tesla, a Serbian-American engineer from 100 years ago. He was kind of written off as a crackpot mad scientist, but a lot of the things that he had invented and that subsequently developed are things that we have today all around us, we take for granted. So I wanted to associate current day entrepreneurs and inventors in the clean technology space to Tesla and say, we might dismiss them today, but they could be the people who change the world tomorrow. So I wanted to tell their stories, explain some of their struggles, explain the technology to the general public, and try to generate some interest around this field of innovation.
I've read several books about Tesla. I'm just fascinated by the things he came up with at such an early time in technology, especially the wireless tower and things like that. I mean, what are some inventors today doing that are comparable to Tesla that perhaps are resurfacing that are things that we were looking at as a plausible way of using energy?
It's tough to identify anybody today with the type of originality that Tesla had.
Sure.
But there are people that are taking technologies that were first conceived of years ago, decades ago, and they're saying to themselves, we have the technology today to actually implement something that maybe 20, 30, 40 years was impossible, or definitely in Tesla's time. Deep ocean solar thermal energy conversion, I don't know if that's the right acronym, but this is the extracting heat from the ocean waters. That was something Tesla proposed 100 years ago, and there's actually companies doing that and just starting to do that today, such as Lockheed Martin. In this book, I profile a company called General Fusion, which is taking a patent that was filed back in the 70s by the U.S. Naval Academy, and they've identified certain technologies that exist today that enable what this patent described back in the 70s, and they're currently building a fusion reactor in the Vancouver area that's funded by a major oil company. It's partly funded by Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon.com, and that has some government money from the Canadian government. And it's just a fascinating example of rediscovering innovations from our past that were held back by technical barriers, and basically taking all the elements of new technology we have today and realizing it in something like fusion.
Any particular technology that gets you really excited that you see right now?
There's so many. I talk about fusion in the book. There's another one, space-based solar power generation. Building big solar power plants in outer space and beaming the energy back down to Earth. It's again, that's a connection to Tesla, because he was one of the early people who experimented with wireless power transmission. And it can technically be done. There's lots of challenges, but there's companies out there today that are trying to make it work. And so that impresses me. Some of the things we have today at the Innovation Exhibition, such as creating biofuels from algae and green chemicals from algae, that really gets me excited. And also energy storage technologies, which we have a couple of examples here. There's some really great things going on, and I think in the next 5 or 10 years we're going to see some major progress.
Cool. And your book?
The book is called Mad Like Tesla: Underdog Inventors and Their Relentless Pursuit of Green Energy. And basically this will go over about half a dozen stories of really cool stories, inspiring stories of inventors trying to change the world with clean energy and innovations.
And you have a website?
We can go to madliketesla.com if you want to learn more about the book.